Hi, it's you again. This is Jay Bell, BPZ Mag, and $2 Bill from the Lazy Susan Band. Just talking to you a little bit more about our new album, Underneath the Minnesota Moon, which gets released on October 21st, which is just a couple weeks away. Hey Z, you in the Lazy Susan Band, you play trombone and auxiliary percussion and harmony vocals. What'd you think about? How did you approach doing your stuff for the album? How did you think about going in to record these things?
When you approached me when you told me you were doing the band thing, I was honored to be a part of it, and I felt like really jazzed up because I get excited about really cool stuff. What I found most interesting was like you were sending song ideas and you were asking me questions about lyrics and horn parts and writing the horn parts with $2 Bill. Like that was the fun stuff. The hard stuff was putting it together in the studio when it was go time. We remember those times, and that I probably wasn't as prepared as I should have been to go into those sessions. And you learn a lot from
as horn players. When you guys do other horn playing, do you do it the same way we do it in the Lazy Ass Brass, where you come up with lyrics for the horn parts, like busy horn part, or dead. There's a. Do other people do that?
That only happens in the Lazy Susan Band.
I'm not in any other bands.
Yeah.
But just someday people will go back and listen to the scratch tracks where I'm just singing busy horn part.
Or, but I like juicy fruit.
But I like juicy fruit. Horn part.
So Bill, we talked in the last segment about how this was sort of the first released album that you've been a part of. I mean, what is that? How is it? What was it like going into that for the first time?
It was exciting and kind of a little scary. And like Brian was saying, it's going into the studio. You know that you're using people's time, and it's so you've got to do it right, which means that you should really prepare a lot ahead of time. And unlike Brian, I prepared a lot ahead of time. Memorizing the chords to all the songs, learning how to play them, things like that. Mm-hmm. But no, it was a little scary, but it was also just so much fun. It was so much fun to get into a studio setting, and also to sing the harmonies. There's something different about about singing harmonies live, which is awesome. It's really fun to sing harmonies live, but it's also really fun to sing them into a microphone when you're hearing all the parts coming back into your ears, and there's just something really cool.
Plus, we were in two different studios where you got to play on real B3s, which is pretty cool.
That was fantastic. Oh man, and playing on a real B3 with a big Leslie speaker spinning around, sitting next to me, with just this super fat sound coming out of it was just awesome.
Nice.
So,
nice. Cool. Well, we could talk a little bit more about some of the songs.
Yeah.
I know I wanted to talk a little bit about the song Onto Something There, which the three of us talked about as being a sleeper. Like, I think we went into the studio not thinking that was going to turn out to be much, or even if that was going to be something we kept in it. It's arguably my favorite song on the record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what did that, like, how did you write that? Where did that
come from? That song started when I was I had a delayed flight in New Orleans, and I was in the airport, and I was at a bar in the airport by myself, and I was simultaneously listening to two conversations at the same time, and they were equally absurd. They were two people trying to convince their group of friends of something that was ridiculous. And one table, there had just been a story in the news where a commercial airline pilot had a heart attack while he was flying, and it was fine. The co-pilot took over, and the pilot died, but everything was fine, and nobody was in danger. But this guy was telling his friends that even though he has no piloting experience, knows nothing about airplanes, that if the plane was going down like this, there's nothing he could do. But if the plane was cruising around, he'd have enough time to just get his bearings and figure out how to land the plane. And no one at his table was buying it.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah. He was saying like, well, he said I'm not really technologically capable, and I've like got lots of gadgets, so I'm sure I could figure it out if it wasn't doing this. And it was like gradually going down. And none of his friends were buying it. And at the same time, at the next table, this guy was saying horrible racist things, and he was trying to explain to the people at his table that they can't be racist because they're from his own experiences. And so and none of his friends were buying that either. And so he was saying like, well, let me explain why this isn't racist, which I just was saying to somebody else. If anyone ever says to you, let me explain why this isn't racist, brace yourself for some of those racist shit you've ever heard in your entire life.
Yeah.
And so both these things were going on, and I was listening to them, and they were both like waiting for someone at their table to take their side and go, hold on, I think you're onto something there. And so that's where that song came from, and then the verses are just sort of imagery about like trying to convince people of things.
Nice.
Yeah, and that worked out really well. Kent's drumming sounds really great, was really tight and really energetic on that song, and Tom Adams, who is our bass player in the Lazy Susan Band, did a fantastic job. In fact, I think that's why this is my favorite song.
Oh yeah, because it's got that chord thing going on.
Well, it's not. I thought that was gonna be the best part, but it's like he does that bouncy thing during the bridge that I can't help but dance. So like in my car, I'm listening. Where were you when the wheels came? Dum, 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 dum. And I dance every time. I just love that. So yeah, that song turned out fantastic.
Did you is Jake Illica on that tune?
He's not. No.
Oh no, because you play slide. Is it slide?
Yeah, that's me playing slide
You're
guitar.
on slide. He's on. Okay.
But Jake's we could talk about Jake Illica from the Heavy Set, who is I grew up in Winona. Jake is also from Winona and is in a great band called the Heavy Set, and he plays pedal steel, which I've always wanted to play and never ever figured out how to. And so he came over and played in a couple of songs, including the song "What Don't You Want to Be," and it just instantly sounded great. It was one of those things where sometimes you're trying to dial in tones and you're trying different amps and mic placements, and he sat down and we plugged into the amp that was already set up for me doing something else and turned it on, and it was just awesome right away. So yeah, it sounds really good.
You had mentioned the producer Jonathan Earl said that as well. He's like, what did you plug him into? And you said, we just plugged him into the thing in the wall, and it just sounded
yeah, it was really
golden.
great.
Yeah, man, he sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and that song ended up, again, probably being another sleeper that I wasn't thinking much about when we started recording, but it ended up being, I think probably because of Jake, it ended up becoming really cool. And then it's also got the patented Tom Adams key change at the end.
Right.
You could write a terrible song, but if you change the key during the last chorus, you've got Tom on your side, no matter what. He's all about modulation.
I remember those moments in rehearsal and writing those songs of the modulations, like, we're gonna do it! We're gonna do it! And you're like, okay. And it worked! I love it. I love it. So, man.
Yeah, well, let's take another break while we get ready to talk a little bit more about our new album, Underneath the Minnesota Moon, and releasing it October 21st with a big party at Whiskey Junction in Minneapolis. You guys know, is there going to be delicious Mexican moonshine at the release party?
There will be.
Sure.
Yes,
there will be. You think so? You think we can get them to bring some over there? You think they'll make the patented Mexican moonshine margaritas with the agave nectar?
I hope and I pray that they do, because it is delicious.
So good.
Once it hits my lips.
So good. So we'll see all of you back for our third installment of this interview, and then we'll see you on October 21st at Whiskey Junction for delicious Mexican moonshine.
Awesome.